Yesterday when I was out taking care of the horses and checking to see that they had their feed and water and whatnot, I saw that their water trough was a little low. So it's like, oh my goodness, a little low. It was 5 buckets full of water low as I schlepped from the workshop to the little spout that goes down into their trough. 5 pails of water, and it's like, holy crap, they're drinking a lot. What else is getting into that water trough? It was like, this is something we need to fix because that seems to be an awful lot. And giving it a lot of thought, and Owen finally came up with the reason. Here's a picture of the culprit. The heavy drinker of the waters, Zuko. Hi, this is Annette from Carpe, Omnia After 60. I'm just here in front of our almost completed skating rink. It was a little bit of a process.
28 by 40.
There's the first athlete.
First athlete.
Owen was working on it all last night. I could tell because each time he went out the door, it bzzed on my notification, woke me up. And then, of course, he's at work really tired, but he's wanting to make memories with all of us, with the grandkids for the winter. So, yeah, skating rink's almost done. I'm going to have to crack out my skates. And on this video, I was going to talk about when emergencies show up on your doorstep. Now, these aren't necessarily your emergencies. They just arrive. And a lighthearted one, when Owen messaged me from work, he had said that there was a bunch of poop in Gus's crate. Now, usually that means that he got into something really gross, and he's had the diarrhea, and it's disgusting and stinky, and it's just a big mess to clean up. And I was like, oh no. So with great trepidation, I trotted downstairs to look at Gus to assess the situation, and found, let's see, really dark banana peel. Now, he would have gotten that from the compost pile when he was out running around doing his business. So, not poop, just a banana peel. I'm shocked that he didn't eat it, but there you have it. Not an emergency. But in my last video, I talked about the up and down of the last few days. It was just awful, and part of that was on one of the mornings on the weekend, I woke up to 2 calls or 2 messages. One from an old friend and one from a new friend with various crises happening. And this was all before 9 in the morning. And one of the things I learned to do, which is a smart thing for any to do when an emergency comes on your horizon, is to decide, is this your crisis as well? Is this fire your fire? And then you have to slow down and breathe and not get involved in the emotion of it all, and decide what you really can do to help in the situations. Now, the one from my older friend, I was trying to decipher what she was trying to say, and it sounded like her daughter was looking to take in a wee one. And she was asking for my feedback, blunt feedback, to see what kind of a hardship it would be, because we also went through a lot when we took in Jasmine. Social services in Alberta is not a fun thing to deal with, and we went through a lot. And I worked with her during those years that we went through this, and she wanted my input. Well, because they were going to a lawyer later, so I gave it lots of thought. I went and gave her all the information I could think of, reams of texts, information and whatnot, because you can only go on the information of what they tell you when you try to help. Well, she came back with this child was 9 and lived in the United States. So out of country situation. The mom didn't want the child. The sperm donor was being an issue, and it would have been nice if she would have led with that, because that's a whole different kettle of fish. And if I were in their shoes, I wouldn't step in the middle of that, because if this child's going to be adopted, it would require a lot of expense, a lot of flying back and forth, dealing with the immigration situation in the United States and Canada. This daughter would be maybe a friend somewhat with the birth mother, but trying to shuffle a 9-year-old to someone's home in another country is just a really messy kettle of fish, and it will probably end up in a whole lot of heartache for everybody. And all I could feel in my heart was just deep sadness for this child, because Jasmine is exactly that age as well, and I can't imagine wanting to get rid of her and what she would feel if she was being tossed around like a hot potato, like this child seems to be. So again, on this one, I decided to hunt down any information I could. I told her that these are the things that the lawyers are going to ask, and we'll tell her, and basically then just bid them adieu, because I am not going to get involved in any of that, because it looks like a big old mess. And that's all. I can just give her information and then just stay out of it. Now, the second call that came in about 20 minutes, message that came in about 20 minutes later was from a new friend. Now, she thanked me for some information I gave her, and then she came out with her sister's daughter needed like emergency placement to stay with her kids because she had a situationship with some boyfriend in the city, and she needed to find someplace else to be like immediately. And I'm like, oh. And she wanted to have the sister call me to arrange for them to stay at our vacation rental. That's one where I had to just not answer quickly, because I had to think about this, because again, it's a big old drama and mess, and it will be bringing them right into our business, which is the vacation rental. And I had to decide what Owen and I would be willing to do to help out here. And it was a hard one, right? Because I've been there. I was the woman afraid with the 2 kids. And so I talked to Owen, and I sent a message to my new friend giving the best I could do. I said that the daughter would have to come through on the Airbnb platform, because that is how our insurance runs, and that is how our county business license runs, because we would lose our license in business if it was found out that we were having people in there and not following these rules. I also said that if the daughter couldn't do this, then my friend's sister can certainly do the booking, but she would have to be there some of the time, because Airbnb does not allow third-party bookings, and that the sister would be responsible for whatever her daughter and grandkids do there. And I also put a time limit of 2 weeks, because we have our first return guests coming shortly thereafter, and I am not about to cancel their 8-night paid booking because of this situation. I did give her that offer. There is 2 weeks in there that she could come and take a break. But I would also, if they took me up on it, I would also say that if this girl gets back together with his boyfriend, he's not welcome there, whether they get back together or not. You know how that goes, right? Get back together, they're okay for a day, they start fighting, and then it's a whole big mess. I had my cat just jump on me. A whole big mess. I was trying to be helpful where I could, but also protect our life and our interests here. I met my friend's sister once. I don't know these people. I don't know this woman or the kids or anything about them. I didn't know what mess I'd be stepping in or inviting into our life at all, because it sounded very dramatic. I sent that message off 3 days ago, and so far I have not heard anything. So I'm figuring they figured out a cheaper option, because yeah, it's not free. I don't mind helping out, but this it's hard. It's really hard. I don't know if my new friend is not happy with me or what was decided. I do know that my new friend, she also has an empty house. Her house is large. It's got bedrooms. There's plenty of space for her niece and her great niece kids, is that the word, to stay there. Now, the issue there might be that this boyfriend knows where they are, but they do have options. The sister does have wealth, so can afford to put them up wherever, and they can stay at my friend's place if things got really rough. And I guess they must have figured something else out, because I haven't heard. And I thought, I'm glad I took my time. I'm glad I thought it over and put boundaries around what we were willing to do to help out in a situation. And I guess I'll find out in time how that all went. Now this not every fire is mine to put out. I also find that in, let's say, my children. My son did that with me, I don't know, about 5 months ago. He had quit his job. He was living with a woman with 5 kids and her ex-husband. And he didn't work. Basically, the only one that worked was her, the woman. And the guys were just sitting there, and that went on for 8 months. And my son wanted to come, admitted that he was into drugs, admitted that he hadn't paid his child support, so he wouldn't have a driver's license. And he wanted to come to our place to stay for a while, to take a break from taking a break from work. In the end of the day, I decided I didn't want to bring that emergency into my life either, because I've tried it before. It does not help my son to grow up. And I told him, find a job, any job, go get a minimum wage one to start, and then move forward, because he has been living off of this woman, and he needs to contribute, and he needs to not come roost and live in the basement and play on his phone and go see his buddies and drink and whatnot. He needed to grow up, because he's 39. He's got responsibilities. He got child support to gain money for and pay. I'm not about to be his excuse for not taking care of his responsibilities. And because I didn't put out his fire, he got himself a job. He's now been working for 2 months, and he might be coming somewhere around Christmas, so we'll see about that. But again, that fire was not mine to handle. That is his life to figure out. If it was a true emergency, of course, if I found out my daughter was being abused and it was terrible, absolutely she could come here right now. Same with Owen's girls. If there was something terrible happening, absolutely. Emergency, a true emergency, we would absolutely step into. But these ones that aren't my emergency to take on, I'll just slow down, take a beat, think about it, not start jumping in to be the fixer and the rescuer, but to decide what is best for all concerned, including my family. And that's it. That's my thoughts on putting out other people's fires. And if you have had any situations like that, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Take care.